The Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare will be the subject of Group 3's report. William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was born on April 23, 1564, an actor, dramatist, and poet from England. He is largely recognized as the greatest playwright and writer of English literature ever. He is frequently referred to as the Bard of Avon and England's national poet. Shakespeare produced about 150 long and short poems in addition to 39 plays. 39 plays consisting of 12 tragedies, 16 comedies, and 11 histories. Shakespeare created 420 new words, added prefixes and suffixes to words that had none before, combined two words into one. He also used nouns as verbs and verbs as adjectives, and also introduced 1,700 new words into language. The Midsummer Night's Dream receives the most professional performances, according to a Prayonomics report from 2016. Shakespeare intended to revive the family's wealth when he penned the book, and he succeeded. Shakespeare moved to London sometime after 1585 when he married Anne Hathaway in November 1582. Shakespeare's play The Midsummer Night's Dream, which was published in 1600 and again in 1619 after his death and was included in the first folio of 1623, was most likely composed between 1594 and 1596 during the same time that he was working on Romeo and Juliet and Richard II.
Setting: A Midsummer Night's Dream takes place partly in the city of Athens and partly in the forest that lies beyond the city's wall. This split between city and forest is thematically significant. The city of Athens is depicted as a place of civilization, law, and order, while the forest is a place of wildness, anarchy, and chaos.
The characters in The Midsummer Night's Dream can be divided into three primary categories. Lysander, Hermia, Helena, and Demetrius were the four human lovers. The fairies, including Puck, the fairy who serves as Oberon's personal helper, Titania, the fairy queen, and Oberon, the fairy king, and the mechanicals. Helena had feelings for Demetrius. Demetrius loved Hermia, and both Hermia and Lysander adore each other. The rude mechanicals are a group of 6 skilled laborers who put on a play for the Athens aristocracy. Quince, the carpenter; Snog, the joiner; Bottom, the weaver; Flute, the bellows mender; Snoot, the tinker; and the Starveling, the tailor are the group's members.
Plot of the story. A Midsummer Night's Dream is a comedy about 4 Athenians, 2 men and 2 women. Exposition. Theseus, the Duke of Athens, and Hippolyta, Queen of the Amazons, plan their upcoming wedding. Aegeus enters with his daughter Hermia and the 2 men who are in love with her, Demetrius and Lysander. Hermia wants to marry Lysander, but her father wants her to marry Demetrius, while Helena, Hermia's friend, is in love with Demetrius. Aegeus, the father of Hermia, demands Theseus to force his daughter to marry Demetrius by invoking Athenian law, which requires a daughter to obey her father or face death. The following morning, the Duke of Athens, Theseus, announces that Hermia must join a solemn religious order, wed Demetrius, or die. Complication or conflict of the story. Lysander and Hermia make a secret plan to meet in the woods the next night and run away to escape the Athenian law. Helena comes in and complains about how Demetrius loves Hermia instead of her. Hermia and Lysander tell her it's okay they're running away tonight. They reveal their plan to Helena because she is a friend of Hermia's. But Helena has an unrequited love for Demetrius. Helena tells Demetrius the plan, hoping it will make him like her, but it doesn't. Theseus and Hippolyta are being married, and the ceremony will be a major celebration with performances by regular people. The Rude Mechanicals, Peter Kenzie, Nick Bottom, and their group are therefore preparing to perform based on the star-crossed lovers Pyramus and Thisbe, and they need a place to practice. They decided to rehearse in the woods. The next night in the woods, Oberon, king of the fairies, and Titania, his queen, quarrel over a changeling child that she won't give to Oberon. Crisis. Oberon plans his revenge and instructs his mischievous fairy servant Puck to fetch him a magic flower that has a juice inside that causes a sleeping person to fall in love with the first living creature they'll see upon waking. He wants to make Titania fall in love with something vile. Vile means extremely unpleasant. Helena had come through the forest following Demetrius. He's looking for Hermia and Lysander so he can stop them from eloping, and she's just following him. He keeps telling her to get lost. He doesn't like her and she's annoying, but she won't stop following. Oberon sees all this, and when Puck brings him the flower, he tells him to take some of the juice and go find the young Athenian man in the forest and make him love the woman who's chasing him. Oberon uses the magic flower on Titania's eyelids, but Puck, on the other hand, puts the nectar on the wrong Athenian, which is Lysander. Helena can't keep up with Demetrius, but she discovers Lysander sleeping on the ground. Helena then wakes Lysander, who's sleeping in the woods with Hermia. Of course, Lysander instantly falls in love with her. Hermia comes in pursued by Demetrius. She's still looking for Lysander, who is missing because he chased Helena, and she thinks Demetrius must have killed him. Climax. The Athenian tradesmen are also in the woods rehearsing. Puck, as a prank, changes Nick Bottom's head to a donkey head. The rest of the men run off because of course they're scared. Titania wakes up and sees the donkey-headed Nick Bottom and falls instantly in love. She says he has to stay in the wood where her fairies will wait on him. When Puck and Oberon reconvene in the woods to discuss how their plans are progressing, they discover that things have been a mess. Oberon tells Puck he messed up because he didn't make Demetrius love Helena. Hermia storms off angrily and Demetrius sleeps. Oberon sends Puck to go find Helena, then he puts the love juice in Demetrius's eyes. Lysander and Helena come into the glade, and he is still telling her he loves her, and she's still trying to get him to leave her alone. Demetrius wakes up and sees Helena and falls in love. Now, Lysander and Demetrius both love Helena, but Helena believes both men are playing a nasty trick on her and don't really love her. Meanwhile, Hermia thinks Helena is trying to steal Lysander, and a fight nearly ensues between the men. Demetrius and Lysander's voices lead them apart in the wood until they're hopelessly lost and they lie down to sleep. By this point, they're near each other but don't know it leads Helena and Hermia into the same spot, and now everyone is asleep. Dinoma. Oberon gives Puck another flower to undo the spell on Lysander. Puck removes the curse from Lysander but not from Demetrius. Puck restores Bottom's head to a human head. Oberon takes the spell off of Titania and she can't believe the weird dream she had. Theseus, the Duke of Athens, comes into the glade with Hippolyta and his lords on a hunt and wakes the lovers up and agrees that the two young couple can marry, and all the couples have a mass wedding together. Ending. The special entertainment is a very terrible version of Pyramus and Thisbe by the Mechanicals. When the play is over, the lovers all leave the place. The fairies enter and bless the house with music and dancing. Finally, Puck comes out and addresses the audience directly, asking them not to take this too seriously. It was all a dream.
In A Midsummer Night's Dream, Shakespeare often employs dramatic irony so that the audience understands the action better than any of the characters. Shakespeare shares the point of view equally among all the characters so that all characters appear equally sympathetic to us.
Themes. The main themes in A Midsummer Night's Dream are the following. First, the difficulty of love, which involves jealousy, arranged marriage, parental approval, competition, and imbalance. The theme of love's difficulty is often explored through the motif of love out of balance. That is, romantic situation in which a disparity or inequality interferes with the harmony of a relationship. The prime instance of this imbalance is the asymmetrical love among the four Athenians. Hermia loves Lysander. Lysander loves Hermia. Helena loves Demetrius, and Demetrius loves Hermia instead of Helena. A simple numeric imbalance in which two men love the same woman, leaving one woman with too many suitors and one with too few. The play has strong potential for a traditional outcome, and the plot is in many ways based on a quest for internal balance. That is when the lovers' tangle resolves itself into symmetrical pairings. The traditional happy ending will have been achieved. Similarly, in the relationship between Titania and Oberon, an imbalance arises because Oberon's coveting of Titania's Indian boy outweighs his love for her. Later, Titania's passion for the ass-headed Bottom represents an imbalance of appearance and nature. Titania is beautiful and graceful, while Bottom is clumsy and grotesque. The second theme is magic, which involves fairies and love potions. The fairies' magic, which brings about many of the most bizarre and hilarious situations in the play, is another element central to the fantastic atmosphere of A Midsummer Night's Dream. Shakespeare uses magic both to embody the almost supernatural power of love and to create a surreal world. Although the misuse of magic causes chaos, when Puck mystically applies a love potion to Lysander's eyelids, magic ultimately resolves the play's tensions by restoring love to balance among the quartet of Athenian youths. Additionally, the ease with which Puck uses magic to his own ends, as when he reshapes Bottom's head into that of an ass and recreates the voices of Lysander and Demetrius, stands in contrast to the laboriousness and gracelessness of the clansmen's attempt to stage their play. The third theme is dreams. As the title suggests, dreams are an essential theme in A Midsummer Night's Dream. They are linked to the bizarre and magical mishaps in the forest. The theme of dreaming recurs predominantly when characters attempt to explain bizarre events in which these characters are involved. Shakespeare is also interested in the actual workings of dreams, in how events occur without explanation. Time loses its normal sense of flow, and the impossible occurs as a matter of course. He seeks to recreate this environment in the play through the intervention of the fairies in the magical forest. At the end of the play, Puck extends the idea of dreams to the audience members themselves, saying that if they have been offended by the play, they should remember it as nothing more than a dream. This sense of illusion and gauzy fragility is crucial to the atmosphere of A Midsummer Night's Dream, as it helps render the play a fantastical experience rather than a heavy drama.
The main moral theme in A Midsummer Night's Dream is love, a subject to which Shakespeare returns constantly in his comedies. Shakespeare explores how people tend to fall in love with those who appear beautiful to them. For a time, this attraction to beauty might appear to be love at its most intense. But one of the ideas of the play is that real love is much more than mere physical attraction.